is that sound, man? I mean, these are the cool beats coming to you from Craig MacArthur from the YouTube Audio Library. I love it. How the heck are you people? Are you funky? Are you funky fresh? Are you living life? What is up? What is up? Let me listen. I'm gonna pause that. Carol's here. How's it going? Happy birthday, Amber. I don't know who Amber is. Came on my stream on Facebook though. Happy birthday, Amber. Amber Simpa Lewis. What's up, Carl? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another thrilling session of Sunday Morning with Sage. Oh yeah, that's right. Sunday Morning with Sage. You guys are so awesome. You know, like I really look forward to coming over here. I never know what I'm going to say. I just like say a little personal prayer that I'm like, okay, please say something that makes some sort of sense. That's pretty much the level of sophistication and programming that you're getting here on Sunday Morning with Sage. How are you doing? Are you, you know, I felt like, I know we got the jams, James Nolan, Jim did a great fundraiser this week. You're welcome to put it in the comments if you want, Jim, for raising money to keep his car filled with gas to help people, you know, to go get things for people, to get food and bring supplies to homeless people. And I think he raised nearly $300. And that's really one of these amazing collaborative efforts that I've seen happen over the years. So the backstory is Jim, he lived with us at our tent village. Now he lives in our one of our transitional houses. And one of our supporters, Lori Beal, I don't know if she's on here this morning, but if she is, good morning, Lori Beal. What's happening? Really like the new... Oh, thanks, Kevin. My kid did this. My kid made this cool background. Isn't it awesome? It's awesome. This is a... it's that chalkboard paint, you know? And so the last couple episodes, I have been just writing the words of the day. And then this week, Indiana came in and did all these cool designs. And I'm pretty sure... he did it so I didn't look so lame. He didn't come straight out and say, dude, your background looks lame. He just did this thing, and I think it looks way better. So at any rate, Becky, how's it going? Tracy, it's great to wake up with you too. So at any rate, Lori Beal donated a car specifically to him that inspired him to pay off some fines he had and to get his license. And now he uses that car a lot to take supplies. Like a couple weeks ago, he organized propane for a homeless camp down the road from where he lives. I think he got a dozen propane tanks. And that was huge because I just didn't mentally have it in me. Like, I go in these strange psychological waves of corona time where I'm really up and I'm really down. Like, I think I have these mini, like, you know, I don't want to over exaggerate it, but it feels a little bipolar. You know, I just feel really amped up and then really low. And then that was a time where I'm just like, I can't do it, man. I cannot get out there. I don't have it in me. And look at there. He picked up a dryer from the laundries yesterday for scraps. So you see, this is that whole hand up, not a hand out thing that we're trying to develop. So Jim has sent you a private question. Are you interested? If not, yes, I want a question. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait, let me go. Where? How did you? Is it on Messenger? Let's see. Jim. Okay, Jim. All right, hold on. Let's see. Where did you send me a message? That's exciting. Now I lost my other screen. Oh, yes. Here we go. The moment where everything falls apart. I start clicking buttons and then I'm back. Okay, Gwen, sent you a private question. I am so interested in your private question. I don't know where that question is, though. Can you tell me? Can you give me a hint where you sent it to me? I so want to answer your question, Gwen, but I can't find it. I feel like it's Easter and I'm like hunting for question eggs around the internet. Could you just post the question maybe right here on the comment thing? Because I'll answer any question. Literally any question. That's the kind of guy I am. $5 already raised by Tracy Thomas for the homeless charity. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you, Tracy. Yes. So at any rate, what's going on like with Jim is many people are giving him these tools to lift himself up, you know? So, man, I'm so excited about Gwen's private question, but I can't find it. Literally, let me guess your private question. Are you ever going to get your hair cut? And what's ironic about haircutting is I don't even have to go anywhere. My wife would cut my hair for me if I just asked. I don't know how to share it. Okay. I'll see if I can find it for you. Well, all right, hold on. Let me go find Jim's let me go find his fundraiser. 1 second, because I will put it up. And if nothing else, you can just see what he's doing and what he's got going on. So, I am okay. Here it is. Hold on. Share. I want to share it. No, I just want to. I want the link. I want the link. Hold on. He's feeling inspired. Wait for it. Oh, I found it. Here it is, Jimmy. Bam. There's Jim's fundraiser. Does not look very pretty, but I'm telling you, that's the thing. So what I can tell you about life is when you're ready, you're ready. And when you're not ready, you're not ready. And it's fine when you're not ready. We judge so many people for not being ready. Like man, the judgment we have about drug addicts, at least in America, I don't know, probably most of the world, is just unbelievable. I don't really... Can Vaughn, what is up? Good morning to you. It is nice to see you. Jane coming to us from Texas. I love it. I hope you're having a lovely morning in Texas. And what I can tell you is the judgment people get for not being ready to quit drugs, for example, only makes it worse. And I see it from all kinds of people. I see it from people that have quit drugs themselves, and then they just throw it on there like, if I can do it, you can do it. Well, okay, I'm gonna tell you. I was gonna save this for later, but in January, I decided to go on a diet. And as of this morning, in January, I weighed in at, I believe the exact amount was 240.4 pounds. Okay? 240.4 pounds. Today, I weighed in at 209.4. Bam! I am getting so svelte. So, woo. I'm sexy and I know it. That's how I'm getting. That should have been the theme song for the day. No, look, I'm still a nightmare. I'm embarrassed to be in my body. But here's the thing about losing weight. Do you know how I got to 240 pounds? I wasn't ready to lose weight. I didn't have it in me. I didn't have the psychological determination to lose weight. And you know why? It's because you don't care. You're like, whatever. I'm just going to die anyways someday. And it's a lot of work to quit eating. I like eating. It's the only thing I do that I get to treat myself. I've lost weight before and it's no fun. Losing weight is no fun. And so for years, I just gained weight because I just had a fuck it attitude. Sorry, I'm trying to cut down on my swearing a little bit because I know I think hurts. I think it's a laser that routes out some people's brains on here, and I don't want to like literally, laser beam your brain with swear words, but it's just the best word. Okay, it's just a fuck it attitude. I don't care. Okay. And I fight with that attitude a lot in my life. Like I fight with, hey, Constance Morris Winther. Hello. So nice to see you. Do you know, I have a very hard time understanding my own emotions. Okay. All right. Look, I don't know. I rarely know what I'm feeling. And trying to explain my emotions I'm just a typical middle class white man. Okay. I'm trying to not be that, but there's parts of me that I just can't get over it. I can't get over being a typical middle class emotionally ignorant man. All right? I can't. It's just born in me, but I'm trying, okay? But one of the things in my life is I don't know how to say it. Like okay, I'm going to throw out some words. Like I don't care. It's not worth like what else am I going to do with my life? Okay? Like trying to help homeless people comes from a place of like, fuck it. It's just like, what? What's going to happen? I'm going to go broke. I'm going to get killed. I'm going to get stabbed. Who cares? I have a who cares attitude, which is kind of a weird low hum of depression. And I don't want to say I'm depressed because I don't know if I'm normally very happy, but I think my whole existence is on a level of depression. Of like, who cares? Who cares? I'm going to live, 50, 60, 70, 80 years in an overall universe, the universe that we know of that's 13.7 billion years. And humans as we know them have been on the planet for 200,000 years. Even that's a ridiculous number. And I'm going to live 70 or 80 years. Who cares? Who cares what happens to me? I mean, there's a lot better people that we should be worrying about what happens to them. And so this whole who cares attitude actually frees me up to do cool things. Like I was just talking to my wife this morning about going and living with some homeless people. And I could see in her head, she's like, oh God, here I go again. This is it. I'm living with a maniac. She knew what she was signing up for though. I don't think she planned on the homeless thing. I think I tricked her by being a cool musician. You know. Yeah. Thank you, Constance. I will. Well, that's the thing. We care. Been there. Felt what you are feeling. Thank you, Constance. And that's one of the reasons going to church now. I want to see this year. If you are, I do archive it. You're going mostly vegetarian, and you're down 17 pounds. Woo! That's congratulations. Yeah. One of the reasons. Say hi to Luke, your son-in-law. Well, Constance Morris Winther, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. And her daughter is married to this guy, Luke Linden, who is the UCC minister at the Medina UCC church. And he is an amazing guy. I mean, amazing. You really should all go leave Sage Sunday morning with Sage and go hang out with Luke. Sunday morning with Luke. Without even trying. That's wonderful, Constance. Congratulations. But so one of the reasons I do kind of want to talk about my emotions, not to like make people worried or feel bad or whatever. I kind of want people to be able to relate. Like, yeah, I know what you're saying. You know, that's one of the reasons I like to be as open as I can in hopes that somebody else is like, wow, that kind of feels like how I feel, you know? And so, and then the other part of it is like, you know, the byline of this is, you know, I'm kind of outsourcing my therapy to you guys because I'm too cheap to actually go to a therapist. I mean, what am I going to spend, $100 to go to a therapist when I can just go over here and vent to you? Come on. Better living through chemistry, 31 years. Oh, wow. Wow, Constance. Thank you for saying that. I did not know that. That's very powerful of you to say. I think sometimes people are embarrassed that they have mental issues like depression, or that they're maybe using, I'm assuming what you're saying there is that you're using some sort of antidepressant. I personally am on citalopram, which is like, I think Celexis. Is that right? What? I don't know. Citalopram. I call them happy pills. I'm on 40 milligrams, and I'm not sure how I like it. I don't know. Right now, it's almost like they're not really reaching me like they've been reaching me. So, but I do believe in them very, very, very much. And they're affordable. 40 milligrams a month cost me $5. And I didn't have to go to a psychiatrist. I just go to my general practitioner, and I'm like, hey, man. He has me come in every 3 months. And the first time you bring it up, it's a little complicated. Feels a little weird, but you're just like, hey, man, I'm kind of feeling a little down, a little anxious. Is there anything you can do? And maybe your doctor would be like, well, let's try some stuff. And my original doctor, Dr. Maybe, put me on this citalopram stuff, loved it. And then I had to switch from Dr. Maybe, which was unfortunate because I love Dr. Maybe, but I switched insurance providers. And, you know, in America, we want choice. So we use private insurance. So, of course, I had to choose the choice of leaving my primary care physician because I got new insurance. But anyways, I'm with Dr. Amamadou, and he's awesome. I love Dr. Amamadou. Hey, Terry Heckman from the Continuum of Care of Summit County, which is doing amazing things, getting their quarantine center on board on Monday, tomorrow, I believe. Very, very excited about that. So at any rate, if you do feel that way, if you do feel anxiety or depression, talk to your doctor. Ask your doctor about citalopram or whatever. I don't know. Don't be afraid. I was afraid. And then I got my happy pills, and I'm like, wow, this is nice. This is nice. I don't have to feel like I want to shoot myself all the time. It's pretty great. Number one reason I don't have a gun. Too much temptation. I'm not joking. I see all those guys in Montana killing themselves. Like, I mean, Suicide rates, I think it's in Montana, North Dakota, one of those states. Look it up. I'm gonna look it up for you. Don't you even worry. Let's see. Suicide rates in Montana. Yeah, let's just go. Let's just look. Okay. These guys are like my number one reason I don't. Depression is such a cruel punishment. There are no fevers, no rashes, no blood tests to send people scurrying and concerned. Just the slow erosion of self, as insidious as cancer. Man, this guy can write. And like cancer, it is essentially a solitary experience, a room in hell with only your name on the door. Bam! Bam! Dropping it like it's hot. Woo! Martha Manning. Really explaining it. Okay, anyways, all I can tell you is... Oh, look. Yeah, check it. These are the suicide rates on a blurry picture. I'm assuming... usually when you have a graph, you put the colors. I mean, the colors should represent something. I'm assuming red means more suicide. Okay? It's all these guys with the guns up here. They get depressed. They go out in the woods with their gun and their whiskey, and then they shoot themselves. Exactly why I don't have a gun. Not because I don't love guns. I don't know if I love guns. Loving guns is a big word, but I respect the Second Amendment. And I'm like, if we could just get those school shootings under wrap, more guns. That's all I care about. Who cares is how I prioritize what's important. Otherwise, I'd be overwhelmed by all the other foolishness. My hubby tries to deal with everything and stays in a state of anxiety. You can only handle so much. Yeah. Who cares allows me great power. It has allowed me to be an entrepreneur. It has allowed me to help the homeless. And it's allowing me the idea of going to live with homeless people. I'm just like, who cares? Who cares? And my wife, actually, she talks about a noble death. She's pretty awesome. She's not even pretty awesome. She's totally awesome. But she will mention, she'll see somebody that died and they're like, well, that was a noble death, And I'm like, yeah, right? Doing something that was important to you. It's such a heresy to say that. I don't know, again, if that's America or if that's the world, but to have a noble death is something that is shocking to say. That you died for something that you believe in? What? You're supposed to believe in living as long as you possibly can. That's the only thing that matters. Just grinding out a slow, long, painful existence until you're a vegetable in your brain and body in your deathbed. And they're jacking in all kinds of drugs and intubating you and jacking your heart with electric shock to just keep you alive. That's what we're all aiming for. A noble death in its own way, may I say. Whatever. Nobility is subjective, right? So at any rate, my depression allows me to do powerful things because I'm just like, who cares? I'm just going to say who cares because it's Sunday morning. We shouldn't be swearing. Who cares? Do something that matters to me. The people down at Community First Village, the tiny house village for homeless people in Austin, Texas, they go out, they take groups of people out on these, they call them street retreats, and they go out and spend the night with homeless people on the streets of Austin, Texas. I'm going to do that. I'm going to map it out myself, and then I'm going to start bringing people out there to live with homeless people. It's I think a good next step. But yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of, I'm afraid of what? I mean, the only thing I'd be afraid is my kid would miss me and my wife would miss me. But what's that, honey? Yeah, I know. She says it's a pros and cons list. I mean, the amount of cleaning that she would substantially decrease the amount of gross in her life. And look, I have life insurance. I'm worth more dead than I am alive. So mostly I try to stay alive for my kid because I think that would jack him up. But, he's 15. I can't be alive forever. But at any rate, I'm not going to die. But at any rate, that's just who I am. And it's weird because when you have like it's this whole idea with nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. And it becomes very dangerous in society when you have nothing to lose. Take good shoes, my friend. I did the retreat and got huge blisters. Pro tip, Jane. Pro tip. Good shoes, because I bet there is a lot of walking. Okay, I don't have good shoes. I'm going to go after this little show, and get good shoes. I need some hiking boots. My cowboy boots, which I bought from the Houston Rodeo, have they're the Ariat. Is that Ariat? The riding boots. Love them. Love them. They have a hole on the top. How did I get a hole on the top of my cowboy boot? I still love them though, but I can't really wear them out in the rain. So I think I'm going to go hiking boots. But that's a good pro tip. We need to break down barriers, okay? I wish all of you knew and were friends with a meth addict, for example. I remember one time a friend of mine, I was talking to her, I don't know, I guess in person. And I was talking about somebody on meth when we had our tent village and our day center. And she's like, are you ever around people on meth? I'm like, are you ever around people on meth? When am I not around people on meth? I mean, meth is like the orange juice of the hood. It's your get up and go. Have you ever been around somebody on meth? There's so much meth in East Akron, I wouldn't even know if they weren't on meth. I just assume everybody's on meth, except for Jim. He's not on meth, I don't think. I don't know. And you know what? I don't care. That's the whole thing. Because I know people on meth. Okay, I'm going to tell you the biggest problem with people on meth. And I'm going to say something very unpolitically correct and genderist. Women on meth organize constantly, like clothing. Like you give them a clothes bin and they will gladly organize it for 24 hours. And then you'll never find anything. And then men just want to garden all the time. Constant gardening. They want to move these rocks from here. They want to dig a hole there. They want to clean up that tree. They want to cut down a tree. And then they want to go build a deck. I'm telling you, that's the biggest problem with meth. No. That's not the biggest problem with meth. The biggest problem with meth is they constantly talk. Constantly. It should just be called the talking drug. I was one time driving a guy down. We had to go somewhere. He was helping me with some project. And I just was in a mood. I was just in a mood and he would not stop talking. I'm like, dude, please stop. Just stop. And he'd be like, oh, Sage, okay, I'll stop. I can't stop. I want to stop. I'll totally stop soon. Have you seen that? Look at that. Oh my God, that's a red car. And it's like that for a half hour for hours. And so eventually I got so fed up that I just cranked the stereo as loud as I possibly could. Our ears were bleeding, but he finally stopped talking because I couldn't hear him anymore. The three biggest problems with meth for you, the outsider, not the person taking the meth, that's a whole other problem. But you, as an outsider, is they're gonna want to clean your closet, they're gonna want to wash your car, and they're gonna want to do yard work, and they're gonna want to talk your ear off. Those are the four things. Look, I know a guy that makes this hooch. It's shake and bake crank, okay? It's this ghetto stuff that he makes out in the woods, okay? And it's terrible. on a dial of 1 to 10, it turns him into 11. He is just so, he's just constantly on that stuff. It's like he makes his own it's like whiskey, like that, just that moonshine. It's the moonshine of meth. This stuff is just crap. And all he does is he's like, "Hi, Sage. How's it going, man? Are you bringing some food?" I mean, Tweak on South Park? That's him, except on this crank crap that he makes. And I'm like, dude, is there a way you can dial your concoction down? He's like, "No, man, this stuff is pure. Everybody else is selling this stuff with fentanyl in it, and they got coke in it and ecstasy. My stuff is pure." I'm like, okay, bro, dude. I mean, he looks like he's going to explode. He has not yet exploded. But the point is, you don't need to be afraid of people on meth. And some people on meth, you don't even know they're on meth. I once talked to a guy that I've known for years, and we were talking about meth. And he's like, "Sage, you've never seen me not on meth." I'm like, "Are you on meth right now?" He's like, "Of course I'm on meth right now. It's like how I do it. I do it all the time." And I do it he organizes his day so he gets sleep, he brushes his teeth. His teeth are fine. I know this beautiful woman constantly on meth. Gorgeous. Now, so look, I'm not trying to romanticize meth. What I'm trying to do is, people don't need to be afraid of people on meth. You don't need to be afraid of people on drugs in general. It's all been propaganda sent out to, basically, the whole war on drugs started with Nixon hating black people. Okay? That's the whole thing. He wanted to attack black people and hippies. And that's how we started the war on drugs. So we could attack them legally. They hated Martin Luther King, man. The FBI, they sent this one letter to him. Have you read that? The suicide letter to Martin Luther King? Have you read that? Suicide letter to MLK. Okay. Here, check this out. The FBI King suicide letter or blackmail package was an anonymous 1964 letter and package by the FBI meant to blackmail Martin Luther King. Look at this. Hold on. Jeez, what's going on? King, comma. And boy, they could underline on a typewriter. This typewriter font is really cool. I love it. I can't make it bigger. Sorry. It's In view of your low-grade abnormal personal behavior, I will not dignify your name with either a Mr. or a Reverend or a Doctor and, your last name calls to mind only the type of king such as King Henry VIII and his countless acts of adultery and immoral conduct lower than that of a beast. This comes from the FBI. King, look into your heart. You know you are a complete fraud and a great liability. He didn't even use whiteout. To all of us Negroes. Like they're writing like pretending to be African American. While people in this country have enough frauds of their own, but I am sure they don't have one at this time that is anywhere near your equal. You are no clergyman and you know it. I repeat, you are a colossal fraud and an evil, vicious one at that. You could not believe in God and act as you do. Clearly you don't believe in any personal moral principles. They were trying to make him feel so bad that he would kill himself. They hated him. The start of the war on drugs. Okay, there it is. Let's war on drugs started. Largely a war on drugs, a largely unsuccessful campaign. Sounds like Hoover wrote it. He did write it, Jane. Good. You're exactly right. Hoover wrote it. Led by the U.S. federal government of drug prohibition and military aid and military intervention with the aim of the reduction of illegal trade in the United States. The initiative includes a set of drug policies that are intended to discourage the production and distribution of blah, 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 blah. Okay, hold on. History. Let's see. Morphine was first isolated in 1805, and hypodermic syringes were first constructed in 1851. This was particularly significant during the American Civil War when wounded soldiers were treated with morphine. This led to widespread morphine addiction among veterans of the war. Morphine, okay? That's an opiate. Until 1912, products such as heroin were sold over the counter in the form of cough syrup. Doctors also prescribed heroin for irritable babies, bronchitis, insomnia, and nervous conditions, hysteria, menstrual cramp, and vapors, leading to mass addiction. In addition, laudanum, an opioid, was a common part of the home medicine cabinet. Do you guys know this? In fiction, Conan Doyle portrayed the hero Sherlock Holmes as a cocaine addict. Citizens did not reach a consensus on dealing with long-term effects of drug usage until towards the end of the 19th century. In the 20th century, the U.S. law that restricted the distribution of certain drugs was the Harrison Narcotics Tax Act of 1914. The first local laws came as early as 1860 and 1919. The United States passed the 18th Amendment, prohibiting the sale, manufacture, and transportation of alcohol. Remember that? In 1920, the United States passed the National Prohibition Act and enacted to carry out the provision in law in an 18th Amendment. 18th Amendment. Do you know which amendment got it rebuked? 18 and 21. It's handy. It's easy to remember. 21 overturned it. The Federal Bureau of Narcotics was established in the United States Department of Treasury by an act of June 14, 1930. 1933, the federal prohibition of alcohol was repealed by the passage of the 21st Amendment. 35, FDR publicly supported the adoption of the Uniform State Narcotic Act. The New York Times used the headline, Roosevelt asked narcotic war aid. Marijuana tax, 1937. Several scholars have claimed that the goal was to destroy the hemp industry. This is important to know. Largely as an effort of businessman Andrew Mellon and Randolph Hearst and the DuPont family. The scholars argued that the invention of the decorticator, hemp being a cheap substitute for paper pulp. So here's the thing. It says it right here. These scholars believe that Hearst felt that this was a threat to his extensive timber holdings. Mellon, United States Secretary of Treasury and the wealthiest man in America, had invested heavily in the DuPont's new synthetic fiber nylon and considered its success to depend on its replacement of the traditional source, hemp. However, there were circumstances that contradicted these claims. So there are some people that believe my mom's dad was on cocaine for his diabetes in the night. Wow. And it was in Coca-Cola, right? Coke was. One reason for, is the new dictatorship not perform. Okay, so anyways, in October 27, 1970, Congress passed the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act, which, among other things, categorized controlled substances based on their medicinal use and potential for addiction. In 1971, this is you got to learn this stuff. You got to know the truth. 2 congressmen released a report on the growing heroin epidemic among U.S. servicemen in Vietnam. 10 to 15% of the servicemen were addicted to heroin, and President Nixon declared drug abuse to be public enemy number 1. Although Nixon declared drug abuse to be public enemy number 1 in 1971, the policies that his administration implemented as part of the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970 were a continuation of drug prohibition policies in the U.S., which started in 1914. The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had 2 enemies. This is the thing. I'm going to stop reading, but you got to listen to this. And he drank a lot of Coke, had 2 enemies in 1968. The anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did, says John Ehrlichman to Dan Baum for Harper's Magazine in 1994 about President Nixon's war on drugs. Declared, that's it, okay? That is the motivation of the war on drugs. Hippies on the left with marijuana and just blacks in general with heroin. And who do you think's mostly in jail for drug use? Who is mostly in jail for drug use in the United States? Let's just see what this goes. Okay. The substantial prison population in the United States is strongly connected to drug-related offenses. While the exact rates of inmates and substance use disorders is difficult to measure, some research shows that an estimated 65% of the United States prison population has an active substance use disorder. 65%! Another 20% did not meet the official drug criteria for an SUD, but were under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of their crime. Okay? So, look, people, 65% of the drug of the prison population has a drug problem. Hold on. Criminal justice fact sheet. Okay, incarceration trends. This is from the NAACP. Between 1980 and 2015, the number of people incarcerated in America increased roughly 500,000 to 2.2 million. Today, the United States makes up about 5% of the world's population and has 21% of the world's prisoners. 1 in every 37 adults in the United States, or 2.7% of the population, is under some form of correctional supervision. Racial disparities in incarceration. In 2014, Americans constituted 2.3 million, or 34% of the total 6.8 million correctional population. African Americans are incarcerated at more than 5 times the rate of whites. The imprisonment rate for African American women is twice that of white women. Nationwide, African American children represent 32% of children who are arrested. 42% of children are detained, and 52% of children whose cases are judicially waived to criminal. This is it. Though African Americans and Hispanics make up approximately 32% of the U.S. population, they comprise 56% of all incarcerated people in 2015. If African Americans and Hispanics were incarcerated at the same rates as whites, prison and jail populations would decline almost 40%. Okay? Can you see the line? Do you see the line? Nixon starts the war on drugs because he wanted hippies, which have largely disappeared. They just all became lawyers. And now they've legalized their drug. Okay? The left, the hippie left, they're so lame. They just became rich. But that left the African American population that they still attack. Back then it was heroin, it was crack, and now these people are in these incubators filled with coronavirus. City Councilwoman Tara Samples here in Akron has a kid in jail or prison. I don't know which. And she's very worried about him, as we all should be. Society has done a wonderful job of keeping us all separate. For example, West Virginia fights all our wars, and we look down on West Virginia. We call them rednecks, and we chastise them for wanting to mine coal, and they run all our wars. The coast of Louisiana is fishing and oil. We don't, at least up in the north, we don't chastise them too much. I think West Virginia is like right on our border of Ohio. But I'm quite sure people look down on those people in Louisiana because they're in the oil industry. Look, we have to break down these borders of people, and I'm here to tell you we have to stop judging drug addicts because it makes it worse. A jail is no place for drug treatment. Okay? Look, I'm going to tell you what happens. A person goes into jail and they get off of drugs. And they come out of jail and I'm like, wow, man, you look great. And you're like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, man, I feel great. I feel good. I feel really good. You know, I'm really looking forward to, you know, getting my GED, or I'm going to get this job. I'm going to get some housing. And I think it's less than 72 hours. They're right back to where they were. You know why? Because who are they going to go hang out with? Where are they going to live? Except with the people they lived with before that were doing drugs, buying and selling drugs. Yeah, a lot of times they do get clean in jail, but there's no counseling, there's no treatment. Now we do have treatment facilities, but I'm telling you, what's going on is it's not fixing any problem. Putting drug addicts in jail is not fixing any problem. Now, my friend Brenda Cameron Ryan, she posted about this big fentanyl drug dealer that went to jail here in Northeast Ohio in the Akron area. He was just buying his drugs on the dark web from China, literally just shipping them from China. And he had bank, man. This guy was making tons of money. Just shipping in fentanyl from China, from the dark web, making tons and tons of money. Now, he's in jail. I don't know if he was an asshole. He probably was. Most of those fentanyl dealers are terrible humans. Terrible humans. I know that when he went to jail, he just kept selling drugs. He somehow figured out how to put drugs in paper, and then he would sell the paper. Like he would get the paper sent to him, like on letters and stuff, and then he would sell the sheets of paper. Look, in capitalism, it's all supply and demand. It's the whole premise of everything we do here in this country. You know, it's like making McDonald's French fries and then chastising them for wanting to eat them. Have you had McDonald's French fries? Jail is not the solution, it's part of the problem. Yeah, I think so. When 65% of the people in jail have drug problems, and they're not treating them, we're not solving the problem. All we're doing is hating black people and poor people. All right, here, you want to see something? I like to do this. Summit County Jail roster. Okay. This is, here's this thing. You can go over here and you can look up all the people that are currently in the Summit County. Okay, so what we're going to do is, these are the people in jail in Summit County. This is why they're in jail right now. This guy, probation violation. Okay, now this guy, he looks messed up, but drug paraphernalia, possession of marijuana, cocaine, aggravated possession of drugs, he had a concealed weapon, trafficking of drugs. Probation violation. Oh, geez, this guy, felonious assault. Okay, this guy killed somebody. He's got $1 million or $1 million bond. Okay, felonious assault. Contempt of court, child endangerment, possession of heroin, possessing drug abuse instruments, domestic violence, drug abuse, trafficking, probation violation, Obstruct official business, obstructing official business, failure to comply order, probation violation, domestic violence, violating the protection order or consent agreement, probation violation, a felonious assault, aggravated robbery, probation violation, contempt of court, probation violation, vandalism, assault on a police officer. Damn, girl. Probation violation, probation violation, probation violation, probation violation, probation violation. Okay, look, I can do this all day. If we would get rid of the probation violation and drug possession people, I think we would cut down on probably 60% of the people in our jail. Probation violation is something most people I know go to jail for. And the probation violation thing is so powerful that you can control the homeless population. You can control these, you can make them move anywhere you want because they don't want to go to jail. They hate Summit County Jail, which is kind of the point, right? And they don't want to go to jail. And so you're like, look, you either leave or I'm gonna run your name. And you know what they do? They leave because they don't want their name run. And a lot of times these probation violations come because these people don't have a home, they don't have a phone, they don't have any way of getting, they don't have transportation. They just don't show up because they can't get to the probation thingy. It's madness. And I'm here to tell you, we are responsible for propagating the madness because we judge drug addicts and we judge black people. Like, just let's call it. All right. Poor people, drug addicts, and black people. We judge them. We judge them. And maybe you don't, or you don't think you do. Maybe you're not even trying to be racist or classist or whatever, drug-a-usist. But these things come out, okay? And the people that are sitting in our jails are the people we don't like. Poor people and black people and drug users, because we as a society don't like them. And it works great for society because they don't want them around either. They're too much of a problem. So as it said when Nixon started the war on drugs, it gets rid of all the leaders. It gets rid of all the men. It's perfect. You get all the men out of society, and then you have an incredibly high eviction rate for black women and poor people, and you got them. They are docile cows, okay? You completely control them. They're not going to vote. They're not going to stand up. They're not going to protest. You win, win, win. That's why it's happening. We used to, like, look, Jane said her mom's dad was on cocaine for diabetes. Do you know who has diabetes right now? My cat. Literally, that was how I was going to open this whole thing. My cat has diabetes. That was my lead story. I'm in for 54 minutes and the lead story finally comes out. I had a whole sex cult plan. I was going to really wow you with my sex cult knowledge. And somehow I got down the rabbit hole of drug use and the FBI trying to kill Martin Luther King and Nixon hating hippies and black people. My cat has diabetes. So look, he's moping around, drinking constant water, peeing all the time, had a good appetite. And I'm like, not me, I don't know anything. I'll tag you in a video I posted on childhood trauma in prison, the real source of the problem. Trauma, yes, trauma, of course, that's huge. Trauma is this massive, massive drag on society. I can't wait to watch that video, Jane. Can't wait to watch it. My wife Rocky, she's like, oh man, our cat probably has failed kidneys. I'm like, well, are we gonna do dialysis? She's like, no, we're not doing dialysis. We don't got dialysis money for a cat. We're not doing that. That cat's just gonna have to, slowly leave this mortal coil in a painful non-dialysis kidney deteriorating way. But anyways, we did go for the $200 blood tests. The vet is so nice, though. I love her so much. She's so sweet. Every time I see her, she's like, your cat is the best cat. And I'm like, honey, you say that to every cat, but I don't care. Somehow I just believe it when you say it. But anyways, we got the blood tests. And I didn't mean to call her honey. That was rude. Doctor, you say that to all the cats. She's just so sweet. She's such a sweet human. I don't mean to belittle her. She's just a nice human. Anyways, we get the test back. He's got the diabetes. And so now we got 100 needles in our house and insulin, and we're jacking our cat with insulin twice a day. And man, does he love it. Ooh, Jane says put a little vinegar in his water. Okay, I'll try anything. Well, now he's got the insulin. He's totally fine. He's back to being an asshole and clawing us and clawing the carpet and the couch. Perfect. Our wonderful cat's back. Everything we all dreamed of. When he was diabetic, he was so peaceful and just sat by the water bowl very compliantly. I'm like the Richard Nixon of cats. Just don't give him the insulin, man. Don't give him the insulin. No, of course he's getting the insulin. I'm glad he's back. It's so sweet to see. It's sweet. It's good. He's a good kitty. He's a very kitty. He's like, he's just a cat. Everything you'd hope for in a cat. Hates you, throws crap off the dining room table, sits on the dining room table. I really am worried that the dogs are going to have a coup because they don't understand. You can see his service. Ooh, yeah. Luke. And the Medina UCCC. You can see his service, the Medina UCCC. Yeah. I do recommend watching his services. Luke Linden, wonderful. I'm sure his service was wonderful. So, look. We gotta stop judging people. I'm here to tell you the quickest way to get people off of drugs is to stop telling them they need to get off of drugs. You gotta treat them like a human. Okay? And here's the thing about humans. We are all weak. Okay? All of us. If you think you don't have a weakness and an addiction, you're lying to yourself. We're a wreck. Human beings are a complete nervous wreck. We're like those cheetahs that have to have dog friends because we're so amped up. You seen those cheetahs with the dog friends? Here, let me show you. Cheetah with dog. Yeah, here, look. Let me get you the video because... Here it is. Look at these guys. Busch Gardens.
Today is actually a culmination of a year's worth of work. It's a celebration of Kasi and Matani, our year-old cheetah and our year-old puppy.
Oh, wait, you can't even see
and
them.
The fact that they've come together and they've built a relationship and a bond that will live throughout their lives. We ran them this morning as an exercise, it's part of their exercise program.
Look at them go!
We look at it as an exercise program. They look at it as fun and play.
But yeah, I see it. It looks fun to me.
We put them together for the first time last year, the first week of April. He was about 6 weeks old. Tani was about 12 weeks old.
All I'm getting at, we're exactly like that cheetah. We got the dogs first, okay? We're the same thing. We're a wreck. We overeat. We watch too much TV. We have too much sex. We drink too much. We have too many drugs. We watch Netflix too much. We gamble too much. All of us. We're all the same. And here's the thing. Like, let's say you quit one thing. Dr. Phil told me this once when I, believed I had a make-believe relationship with Dr. Phil watching him on TV. Dr. Phil told me that you never just cut out an addiction. You replace an addiction with another more socially acceptable addiction. Okay? And there are, and people are on an addictive scale. Like everybody I believe is on an addiction scale. Some have more addiction propensity than others. But we all are doing it. We're all going to our happy place. Okay? Our happy place could be a bag of Doritos. Our happy place could be like those stupid music shows on TV that are wonderful. We're all going to our happy place. Our dog. We have dogs because we need the happy place. Because we're cheetahs inside. We're just amped up and freaked out constantly. Unfortunately, Constance here divulged that, happiness through chemistry, which is my secret, it's all brain chemistry. Our brain chemistry's all whacked out. Get on the drugs. Get on the legal drugs. Look, I do not recommend street drugs for many reasons, and we can talk about that at another time. Ultimately, drugs and alcohol and even food, that's why I'm losing weight, because I overate, okay? I stopped drinking and I stopped smoking and I just ate. Okay, no, here's how it all went. I stopped drinking and smoking. I built a theater in my other house. And then the Great Recession came and I started running and I ran 3 marathons. Then I got on citalopram and I'm like, running's for losers. Just use drugs. And I've been on citalopram and then I just started eating. And now, 2020, I have to lose 40 pounds. And do you know what I'm doing now? Here, let me show you what I'm doing now. I just bought this guitar. I'm going to learn how to play the guitar. Okay? Because I understand who I am as a human being. I need to fill my life with things that make me feel good. We all do. All of us. I'm just trying to find socially acceptable things that aren't going to make my life worse. Now, I'm telling you right now that guitar would be better with a case of beer. At least while I was drinking the beer. But you know why I'm not going to drink the beer? Because the day after. And then I'm going to be caught in it. And then I'm going to drink more and I'm going to get caught in it. And I'm going to have hangovers. That's why I'm not drinking, because I already know myself. So I can't drink. I hate smoking. I do like being around smokers, though. I will never turn it down. You're always allowed to smoke in my car. You ever want to smoke somewhere inside? You come to my car. You can smoke in it. Because I enjoy this. I enjoy being around it. But I do not want to start smoking. I'm just not going to get involved in these street drugs, mostly because they're too tempting. I think I would like them way too much, and they're too dangerous. They're too dangerous because, they're lacing everything with crap. It's terrible. So I have to find, and then I had to stop eating because, look, I don't want man boobs. It's gross. It's just disgusting, and I feel lethargic. I feel like Jabba the Hutt, and I look terrible. My wife has to be around me. Ugh. It's disgusting. And then I feel bad about myself. Feel bad about myself. And so I need to find things that I can find interest in. And what I'm finding is that none of them are as consuming as like booze or probably drugs. So I have to find a bunch of them. So like I'm going to practice the guitar a little. I'm making videos more. I'm working on my TikTok channel. I'm playing some online video games. I'm watching some TV shows. I'm finding that I have to package a whole bunch of things that are my happy place. They're not like along with medication. Okay? I have to medicate myself and then find a package of happy place things that make me feel good. Okay? Because you know why? Because I'm human. That's why. So we gotta stop judging drug addicts because they're doing exactly the same thing we're doing. Except we look down on them because they're poor or they're black or they live on the wrong side of town. Fortunately, in a terrible, tragic way, opiates have found their way into the middle class of society and even the upper echelons of society. I believe a Kennedy woman died of an overdose last year, I think. So it is, drug use is getting into our culture. And African Americans will say, well, you haven't cared about our kids for 50 years, but now your kids are dying and all of a sudden it matters. Yeah, that sucks. Absolutely sucks. But maybe we can stop judging these people on drugs. Okay? Because that is how you're only going to quit when you are mentally capable of quitting. It's the only time I could quit eating was when I was mentally ready to quit eating. It took me years. And that's how quitting drugs is. It's how quitting alcohol is. It's how quitting anything bad is. You have to be mentally ready. And when people are belittling you and bashing you, you're never going to be mentally ready. You're just going to keep going back to your happy place, which is killing you. All right, everybody. I love you. Have I ever said that? Of course I said it. I say it every year. I say it whether you need it or not, once a year. I say it every week because I do love you. You're amazing. You're good people. You inspire me to be good. Maybe next week we'll talk about sex cults. I don't know. It was going to be so good. I had videos. It was going to be really great. But whatever. You guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.